Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Caucus Meeting of the Englewood Cliffs Mayor and Council. Today is January 15, 2019. It's approximately 6:39 p.m. The clock on the wall is very wrong. Don't judge your life by that one. I call the meeting to order. May I have a roll call, please?
Mayor Kranjak,
Here.
Councilpersons Wu,
Here.
Song,
Here.
Sabari,
Here.
Park. Councilwoman Park sent me an email that she would like to participate via phone. Aversa,
Here.
O, here. For attorney,
No.
and municipal secretary.
Okay.
We're gonna go into closed session, and I'll call her.
Hello, office. Okay. That's fine. Could you have the Open Public Meetings Act statement read into the record?
Adequate notice of this meeting was given to the press and posted as required. Date and time of this meeting was legally given as required by the Open Public Meetings Act. This notice is on file with the municipal clerk and posted on the bulletin board. Minutes of this meeting will be made available to the public upon the completion of typing and proofreading by the municipal clerk.
Okay, can I have a motion to go into closed session? All in favor? Okay, can you read the appropriate language to get us into closed session?
Whereas Resolution 1943, whereas the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Englewood Cliffs has deemed it necessary to go into closed session to discuss certain confidential matters, and whereas the minutes of the closed session will remain confidential as permitted under the Open Public Meetings Act, or shall be released when there is no further need for confidentiality as authorized by the Borough Attorney. Now therefore be it resolved that the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Englewood Cliffs will go into closed session for the following matters as permitted under the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-12. Pending litigation, Borough of Englewood Cliffs, and regarding affordable housing, docket number BERL 6119-15, 800 Sylvan Avenue LLC versus Borough of Englewood Cliffs, docket BERL 6918, 800 Sylvan Avenue LLC versus Planning Board, docket BERL 908817, Chaffee versus Borough of Englewood Cliffs, docket number BERL 892018, Tracy versus Borough of Englewood Cliffs, docket number BERL 5969-18, payment of attorney fees in Eastwood versus Borough of Aversa Park, docket number BERL 2490-18, PBA versus Borough of Englewood Cliffs, docket number 2:16-ZB-08053, Mura versus Borough and Chaffee, docket number BERL 76-16, Eastwood versus O Aversa Park, South Sabari, and the Borough, BERL 26019.
Point of order, Mayor? Can I have the record reflect that I've asked from the agenda committee that we wanted to add more litigation?
There is no agenda committee. But if you, I know you have requested it. So the one that you asked for regarding Chief Chaffee,
It's Larry Kranjak versus...
yeah, that's not pending.
Chaffee, but it's not?
Well, that one, yes, that one is pending. But that's him individually, that's not involving the borough at all.
But isn't it, isn't the chief getting, sued?
He's getting sued, no, individually.
Individually?
Only
Is that right?
individually. Only individually. You know why? Because he deserves to get sued individually.
I'd like to ask the board attorney that.
He's being sued individually as his position of chief of the Borough of Englewood Cliffs. And if there is a serious question as to whether or not he would be indemnified by us and/or able to ask us to provide legal services for him. I've spoken to Summit Risk earlier today with regards to that they were not aware of this lawsuit. For some reason, it's been kept quiet. And they were, needless to say, quite concerned about it. I am assuming we'll be getting a letter requesting that representation be given to Chief Choppy, and then we'll deal with it at that point.
So Gloria, you're raising it even though it hasn't been given to the borough? So are you representing Chief Choppy now?
No, I'm not representing the chief. I had asked this to be included in the closed session discussion so that the council could update us as to where we are.
There's no reason to, because it hasn't involved the borough. It involves Chief Choppy as an individual on his
But
own.
you just heard the borough attorney stating that.
I don't think he's read the
that's not a
case.
correct statement.
I think the different, Mayor, it does involve the borough. It does.
Do you want to add it on?
It involves.
Feel free to add it on if
It
you want.
involves with regards to whether or not you have a conflict now in any matter of the Choppy.
Well, here's the story, everyone. I did sue him for my legal fees because the PBA brought a mirror litigation. And if you listen to the audio recordings, which someday Mr. Wunsch will let go into the public realm, although he's resisting that right now, but wrongfully, may I add, that litigation involves Choppy urging the PBA to file a mirror complaint that he filed in federal court. The complaint got dismissed once, they brought it again, it got dismissed again. So quite frankly, I think it's fair that someone has to pay my legal fees also for a change here, and it should be Chief Choppy.
Paying for the chief's legal fees.
I have no idea, maybe you know.
No, you're suing him in his position as...
No, I'm suing him as an individual who's a bad actor.
You're suing him for, according to your complaint, okay, punitive damages,
Right,
compensatory damages,
right,
interest and costs,
right, because he should
and
be.
counsel fees. So
Right.
you're not suing him for counsel fees only, you're suing him for punitive, compensatory, interest and costs, counsel fees. Compensatory damages would probably have to be covered by the municipality.
I don't think so. You're so willing to throw money at this guy. Al, why don't you read the complaint and then come back to us with a real
I read
opinion?
the complaint, and the complaint is absolutely positively ridiculous from the standpoint of you have...
Maybe you should listen to the tapes.
You have put us in a position where you are in conflict
With who?
with regard, with the entire borough.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
Really? Well, now you're an oracle of conflict. We'll get to that later.
I like that word, oracle. That's a very good word to use.
So here we
Because
go.
I'll tell you this, I'm looking into my oracle right now, and I see that we got a problem now. Because you have used this pulpit as an opportunity to attack him at every opportunity.
No, actually, I'm the victim here, counsel. I'm the victim. Now you sound like you're representing him again. Now you sound like you're representing Chief Choppy and Captain Murphy.
As a victim, maybe, are you alleging that you're having...
I think you should stop where you're at.
Distress?
I think no, are you?
Are you?
Are you? Are you? Because you seem very emotional right now.
I'm not suing anybody.
But you also seem very defensive of your chief.
I'm
Good.
defensive.
All right, look, we want to add it
I'm
on.
defensive of the people.
All right, we'll add it on to the agenda. We'll go into closed session. Hold on.
I know.
You're out of order. I have the floor. No. I have the floor. I have the floor. You don't have the ability to do what you're doing right now, okay? This belongs in closed session, if anywhere.
A comment. You're the one who started it.
No. She started it. Okay.
Because you wouldn't put it on the
By doing so,
Look, if you guys want to talk about it in closed session, we'll put it on last. I'll leave the room. You could all have a talk, and that's fine. What else?
One more litigation matter that I like to...
Which other one?
The one that you just, that our borough attorney represented the five,
So that's so that's a case that was brought yesterday, and your counsel showed up as well. Now, it was about your power grab, which we wanted to make sure a judge decided whether or not it was right or wrong. And at that, I guess it was a hearing, it was decided that we would withdraw it with prejudice, see what happens tonight. We're supposed to try to work out something on the bylaws that you want so desperately to change. Your counsel was not available today for a call and didn't work out anything with us. So, quite frankly, if you do anything with those bylaws today, we will go back to Judge Friscia, my counsel, my lawyers, will go back, and they will tell Judge Friscia that everything she told your counsel to do, Mr. Wunsch, hasn't been done, and he's disobeying her.
How do you know that we're going to not do it the correct way?
Well, you know what, if you think that,
We adopted the bylaws.
no, you play games at the reorg meeting.
You filed your complaint too prematurely.
You crave power so much, and we'll talk about that later. Go ahead.
If I
You want to add
In
it?
regards to...
You shouldn't be talking about it.
That I have, no, that I did speak with your counsel, who, by the way, is a delightful individual. I had a very nice conversation with him, two long, fairly long conversations about trying to...
I'll pass on the bonus.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a great guy, okay?
He is a great guy.
And your other associate was a wonderful individual, too.
He's also my partner.
Okay? He's your partner also?
Yeah.
Splendid.
Yeah.
Very, very
Oh,
nice
good.
guys.
Good.
Okay? I enjoyed it immensely dealing with them. Okay? I was on the phone with them.
That's because Jim went to Don Bosco, so I know you guys have it.
That helps.
Yeah.
You know, as opposed to the Vegas Volt. We should be saying in this case, Boyka Volt. That's what's nice. The situation with regards to him, we spoke twice.
The world's your stage.
We spoke twice.
All right, did you settle anything?
After what happened today with regards to the fact that the...
Nothing happened today.
Excuse me. What happened today was you started taking stuff off the agenda, which the judge, if you want to talk about what the judge was saying, the judge told him he can't do that, and yet you did it. So as a result of that, I had no other recourse. You had made comments
Well,
about
that case
the
is
borough
it's
clerk.
not pending right
You
now,
made
so it
comments
doesn't...
about the borough clerk. You made comments about taking stuff off the agenda that needed to be put on the
Okay.
agenda. And as a result of that, you put me in a position where I said, listen, I can't do any deal.
No, you actually disobeyed what the judge told you to do. You were not cooperative, and that case is not pending, so it doesn't belong in closed session.
And just a point of order.
So when you go and find a new stage tomorrow,
You dismissed it with prejudice, you removed it with prejudice.
without prejudice. It's
I
without
just want to correct, make
prejudice.
sure-
No, it's without prejudice. I said it twice, once without, once...
First you said with.
All right,
So I just want to say it wasn't with.
okay, what else do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about the fact that with regards to me sticking up for anyone, okay, I'm sticking up for...
Why'd you stick up for this town for a change?
I'm sticking up for the people.
Yeah, you really?
That's what I'm...
Really? Well, because we're waiting to hear those recordings, which are now in your possession and have not been released. And I understand that you're dragging your feet on them, okay?
Why? Because I had an order to show cause that I had to deal with, which took me for...
No, actually, I
Monday.
was told that you want to listen to the 120 recordings.
Filed against me. Yes, I do. You know why? Because unfortunately...
Because our prior counsel
other
did.
prior counsel and her interpretations as to what she believes should be attorney privilege and what she doesn't believe is attorney privilege.
Well, here's the
And let me
thing.
tell you,
Here's your problem. Here's your problem. Your problem is that I have a letter from that counsel and from our clerk saying that there's a long list of recordings that are not privileged, and I intend to rely on that letter, and we've already relied on that letter.
I don't have to rely on that letter.
Well, you don't have to, but I can.
Well, here's the situation.
You can do whatever you
I
want.
inherited a leaky bag, okay? And before it damages or gets on my suit, and I have to send a dry cleaning bill to the people, I'm gonna make sure it's done right. And that's what I'm doing. I'm making sure it's done right. I cannot trust the efforts, and especially because you filed suit in this case, I cannot trust the efforts of the other attorney.
You all did a power grab, which was not correct, and it was improper. And quite frankly, I'll remind you that I am the elected mayor of this town, and I won by a lot. And you're not elected. You're not elected, okay? And neither are you, okay? You guys are elected, and I'm elected, but we're elected to different offices, okay? And I think it's time that you in particular start to respect that.
You lost, so you weren't elected to a council.
We're all elected to help the town, Mario, we're not elected.
Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
And you weren't elected dictator.
No, I'm not actually, but I do have statutory rights, which you're trampling on right now, because that's what you do. You trample on things.
Specify things like the Title 48.
The bull in the china shop thing doesn't work with me, okay? This is a professional council with a mayor. If you want to join us and act professionally, you're welcome to. If you want to do a stand-up routine, the Bicycle Club has stand-up comedy night, and you're welcome to go there.
But here's the thing, Mayor, you know, you started off your speech...
We're going to be closed
reorganization.
session, right? What else is going on?
You started off your speech...
We have to do work.
You started off your speech on the reorganization saying that anyone who's willing to work with me, I'm willing to work with them.
Well, you're not willing to
Well,
work with me.
here's the situation.
Why don't you put your finger down now?
You're only willing to work with people that are going to listen to you.
No, I'm only willing to work with people who are honest, honorable, and professional, and who treat this town in a good way.
Saying we're not honorable, we're not professional, and we're not honest.
I don't hear legal advice, I hear political advice.
Well, that's what he's here for. He's here for politics, right?
No,
Yeah.
I'm here to...
You're here to be political.
All right, let's go ahead and close session.
You could add that one. And the other one is not pending right now, technically, so it doesn't get missed. All right, let's go. Could I have a motion to come out of closed session, please? All in favor? Okay, Madam Clerk, did you have any changes to the agenda that you wanted to relay to the crowd?
In closed session, it was decided that we will be pulling, or actually tabling, Resolutions 51 and 52, and I'll read them both. Resolution 51, approve and adopt housing element and fair share plan, and 52, approve intent to bond in connection with the housing element and fair share plan. And just to give everyone an explanation, they're both being tabled to a special meeting when both our affordable housing attorneys are available.
Okay, thank you. We need to open up to the public. Have a motion to do that? Second? All in favor? So if there's anyone from the public who wishes to speak, please raise your hand and I'll recognize you. You'll also have an opportunity to speak at our regular meeting, which will start in about 4 minutes. So you're welcome to do so now and then, or just then, or just now. Anybody? Yeah.
Carol McMorrow, 49 Summit Street. I just wanted to state, the purpose of the caucus is to, 8:30, purpose of the caucus is to talk about matters that are on the agenda, along with the fact of whether or not the council is adding anything onto the agenda that's already been distributed to the public. I understand that you're tabling 2 items until, what was the date?
No, there was no date. We haven't decided yet.
Okay, so I'll
It will be at the next special meeting regarding affordable housing,
okay, I'll go
when
back
our
to that in a
affordable
minute.
housing attorneys are able to attend.
First question, are there any resolutions being added or any changes to the agenda?
Yes. So I have copies of the amended bylaws here. I'd like to share with, I'm sorry. So there's going to be a resolution that's added to the agenda. We wanted to put it on the agenda from the agenda committee, but the mayor has...
I didn't ask for, I'm not asking for your political speeches. I'm asking for I'm asking if anything's being added to the agenda.
But I
What
have
is-
a copy of the bylaws here, and
Which bylaws are these?
these are the
Amended bylaws?
And we'd like to...
You say "the" as if though they are already in
We'd like to do a
existence.
resolution of the first reading.
Okay, so for the record, Councilwoman O, you've been on the council since 2012. You know how this works. You are now the council president, and there's word out there that you're running for mayor. That being said, Robert's Rules of Order are quite clear, and you've just violated them. Again, because you,
I was trying to...
excuse me,
Question,
excuse me.
Carol.
I'd be more than happy to have you respond after I finish the sentence, and if you could not interrupt me mid-sentence. Thank you, Ms. O. That being said, if I didn't ask the question, we would never know, right, if anything was being added to the agenda. You should have stated that to the public before.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You should have stated that to the public before you went into closed session. The public does not have copies of that.
I just got mine as well.
Okay, so we now cannot comment on them, and you again, unless you've printed copies for the public, for the entire public, wonderful. So then,
Who wrote these?
absolutely.
Councilwoman O, did you write these?
Yes.
okay, so then I guess that'll be distributed, and I will comment on them. Is there anything else being added to the agenda?
The second reading of the ordinance, repealing the pay-to-play, that was read into the...
Well, you didn't have a first reading yet because you actually didn't, because you violated the Open Public Meetings Act at your first meeting. I know that Ms. Sabari and Ms. Song is new, but they're new, but the rules are that you're not allowed to do that at a special meeting. It has to be at a regular meeting. It wasn't advertised, and it wasn't distributed to the public again. It actually, Mr. Wunsch, it was
So
not.
for members of the public, hold on a second. For members of the public, what's being referred to here is that there's a no pay-to-play ordinance in this town. It's probably the strictest in New Jersey. The five members on council seem to be inclined to replace that with a watered-down version, and you can guess why.
Okay, Mayor, I'm not, respectfully, I'm just here to state what the facts are for whether they violated the law or didn't violate the law. Everybody, they're entitled to do whatever they want to do. If they want to award their friends contracts for donating to their campaign vote, that's their prerogative. I don't happen to agree with it, but if they like pay-to-play, that's something they have to live with. I'm here to state they violated the law, in my opinion, in not advertising that at a special meeting. The reorg is a special meeting, Mr. Wunsch. It wasn't advertised. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah, in fact,
They
Judge
can't,
Fisher just told Mr. Wunsch yesterday that the reorg is not a regular meeting, even though at the reorg, he was telling me that it was.
But the interesting thing is that the judge also told me yesterday that the mayor can't control the agenda.
I don't want to get into this.
You digress.
Excuse me, Mr. Wunsch, no.
He interrupted.
Okay, well, I'm going to ask everybody to not interrupt my statement. Okay, but please, but you, Mr. Wunsch, please. Okay. I'm bringing to your attention, you violated the law at the reorg meeting. It was,
Now, in no respect, in 2010, the Republican majority did the same exact thing. And if I'm not...
oh, here we go. Oh, this is not political?
You were on the council back then.
And we were told,
And if I'm not mistaken...
you're being very political, Al. I'm going to call you Al now, okay? Albie. I'm going to call you Albie. Okay.
I'll call you Carol.
That's because you are, yes.
Okay, look, so
Okay,
there's a question
I'm not
of
being
Open Public
political.
Meetings Act violation.
No, I'm not being political. You can do what you want, just introduce it.
So let's ask council.
That's precedent, and it's happened.
Council,
That's not
forget
just-
council, was there or was there not an Open Public Meetings Act violation when that ordinance was introduced at the reorg?
Not in my opinion.
There, you have the opinion. And everybody's got that opinion now.
Okay.
So you better be right.
Okay, well, it was a violation, and I really take offense to you bringing up, clearly someone is feeding you.
I'm just trying to start...
Excuse me.
This town.
History does not make
That's
law.
not history. You were not in closed session in 2010 with any of us, Al. So please, I understand. I was there. I know what was said, and we were advised then to carry that, which is what we did, Al. Please don't tell me what we did. We carried it, okay? Listen, I'm going to move on. I am just going to bring the facts to your attention.
So am I.
No, you're not.
telling you what the history of this town is, okay?
No.
I take pride in the history of this town, as I know you do, okay? So when you throw out something and you say to me...
I'm not throwing anything out. No, I did not say that, Al. Al, do not put words in my mouth. I did not say that. I stated that you broke the law in doing it the way you did at that meeting. Even if, which you're not correct in 2010, because I had the audios of those meetings, it did not take place the way you are saying, okay? There were many conversations between Joe Parisi, Robert Agresta, myself, Alan Plorker, and Fred Semero, okay, that you're not privy to, that you're not aware of. So please don't hang the historian thing on on a rack somewhere, because you don't know what you're talking about respectfully. There were other items that were conversed there, okay? So, what does that have to do with today? The law was broken. They violated the Open Public Meetings Act. And guess what?
Was the law broken in 2010?
Al, stop, I'm talking about today.
He said that no law was
Okay,
violated,
all right, so
and he has
that's
to live with that
fine.
now, okay?
Okay.
And, Mr. Wunsch, I don't need a historian.
I don't need to be
here. I
attacked
need
as a
an
resident
attorney.
by you, okay? Just by
History
showing your
does not
bias.
make law. Law is law, okay?
People are talking.
All right, I don't need a historian up here. I need a lawyer, okay? I need you to act as an attorney. Well, I don't need a historian.
Well, I'm going to tell you, you're clearly
funny,
showing
but-
your bias towards me, and I'm going to start bringing this up at this...
Carol, with all due respect...
No, there's no respect. Well, you're researching what happened, and...
That I said, that I'm being confronted with regards to something, and then I can show you historically how it happened in the past. That's all I'm saying,
I didn't in any way...
According to what Councilman Aversa said, when I brought something up to him last week, he said, so if I made a mistake then, I'm not going to make the same mistake twice. So he's allowed to bring up that you can't make the same mistake twice, but you can?
All right.
We need to move on. This is,
All right, so just for the record, history tells us what's happened in the past.
no, you make it more than twice.
Hold on a second. History tells us what happened in the past. Laws are how we behave today and what we need to do.
Correct.
So you
And
tell me
that's,
that past laws and stare decisis has no basis in the law.
it's statutory, so stare decisis is built into the statute that you should go
And
read.
guess what? The past.
It's built in.
It's called the past.
Okay.
You know what, there was...
It's called the Open Public Meetings Act.
Can I respond to your comment or question, rather? Because
I don't have a question. I'm making a statement.
Questions, but yeah, you don't give people opportunities to respond to you,
Oh,
okay?
Gloria,
In
don't go there,
2016,
okay?
when
ahead.
the Republican-controlled council adopted a resolution to have 2 co-chairs for the Finance Committee, that wasn't done at the regular meeting, that was done at the reorg.
No, you told me it was not enforceable and we never went through with it.
No, that's not true.
Okay.
It doesn't matter, let's move
That was
on.
the Second Amendment to our bylaws, okay?
Can we move
No, it
on?
wasn't.
We have to get to our regular meeting, please.
I will, Mayor. This is public comments, remember? Okay.
I know, and they're actually trying to limit you to 5 minutes.
Well, they can't do that.
I know, but they
Okay.
can try.
Okay. Okay, on number 4, in closed session, Chaffee versus Borough of Englewood Cliffs. Who's the attorney appointed to that case?
There's no attorney appointed to that case yet. I was authorized to ask for an extension to follow the answer on that case, and I did.
You were authorized, when were you authorized?
At the last,
Excuse me. I'm sorry, I can't hear him. Sorry.
at the last council meeting,
You were authorized to do what? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
to request from his counsel a opportunity to file a late answer and vacate any default, because nothing was done by my predecessor.
Did you guys fire her?
Excuse me, Mayor.
No,
Mayor.
before she was fired, she didn't do it, so...
I was at the meetings when she asked for an attorney to be appointed, and the council denied her. So, was there a public vote on the extension that you're talking about you were authorized? When did you have this conversation?
With who?
With whoever authorized you? Who authorized you?
The council.
Well, when did you have that conversation? Where was that conversation?
Closed session.
A closed session. Okay, so you were authorized in closed session to file an extension?
No,
For you to be a-
an extension.
Okay, but who's the attorney representing the borough in that case?
Look, what happens in closed session is in closed session. However, I think you're being inaccurate, okay?
I just want to know who the attorney was.
There has
That's,
not been an attorney assigned. I've said this to you now.
but why are we not, we'll be in default if there are due dates on these
We've got 30
cases.
days extension.
Okay, but is there any reason why we're not appointing an attorney for the case?
Not what we're going to talk about right now. That's correct.
I didn't understand that answer, I'm sorry. What does that mean?
We're not going to speak about it.
No, I'm not understanding the statement.
It's in litigation, we can't speak about it.
I'm not asking for the details of the litigation, I'm asking why you're not appointing
We're not appointed.
an attorney to protect the borough's interests. That's got nothing to do with litigation. It's got to do with protecting the, okay. Okay, I can see how this is gonna go. Okay, next. Number 6, payment of attorney fees in Eastwood versus Borough, Aversa, and Park. They were all in closed session on this? How could they be in closed session talking about the subject of whether or not to pay their own attorneys?
Well, there was only one, and that was Park, and she was not in closed session. The
I'm sorry.
lawsuit is in caption that.
It says Aversa and Park.
Excuse me, let me finish. The lawsuit is in caption that, but the attorney's fees only dealt with Ellen Park.
Okay.
Who was not in closed session.
Okay.
Okay? And that the matter was, Eastwood, which was dismissed.
It wasn't dismissed, I was at that hearing.
That's not what I was told by the attorney.
Which attorney?
The one that is requesting that we pay his attorney's fees.
Oh, Shatino, the one that sued the borough?
Correct.
Okay, okay.
A lot of people sue the borough, Carol.
Okay, number 8, Mura versus Borough of Englewood Cliffs. Michael Chaffee. You were in closed session? You don't think you have a conflict with Scott Muir?
Not when it comes to this,
You represented Scott Muir.
not for anything to do with being a cop.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
He didn't get hurt on duty, and you represented him in that lawsuit?
No, Jeff Abney represented him on that lawsuit.
So you never represented Scott Muir
I'm not,
in any capacity having to do with a police officer? Oh, I'm not asking, in anything having to do with being a police
I'm
officer?
not discussing it.
I think you have a conflict with Scott Muir. So,
If you want to start going into that, we'll go into.
All right, just for the record, though, if you do, you didn't disclose it to us.
You don't have to, because there's no...
Okay, very good.
and in the Eastwood versus Aversa Park, who's representing the borough on it? What is this? This is a new one? This one here?
You would sit next to him. That's
That is a new one.
I was sitting next to her? What does that mean? I was sitting in front of the other people on that
That's a
road,
new
too. I didn't-
litigation, that's a new litigation that came in yesterday,
Sorry about that. Thank you very much.
today.
Okay,
Yes?
okay.
Yes.
Who's representing the borough on this?
We understand counsel yet.
Okay. Will we be in default if you don't do that today? Or no?
We've got time.
Okay. And in the case regarding the one you referenced when you guys were arguing before, that you were in court yesterday with, the mayor's lawsuit, I heard you say that you were in court for that? Who were you representing on that case?
The borough and all the defendants.
But don't you represent the mayor and council? How could you represent the council against the mayor? That's a conflict.
The mayor sued the council.
It doesn't matter. You can't represent the council
Just, you know,
against the mayor. There's so many conflicts going on.
Mr. McMorro, Mr. Wunsch doesn't believe that he has to do anything with me or for me or as my attorney as mayor.
I'm not your attorney, I'm the people's.
No, you're the borough's attorney. You're not
You're
the people's
mistaken, sir. There's
attorney.
a governing body, and there are people, and there's a borough, and you represent all of us.
You represent the
You
mayor
need to
and
get your
council.
ducks together in line.
You sued the town.
When there's a power grab by 5 people on council, I do sue the
I'm
town.
not getting into that. No disrespect. I'm not getting into your tit for tats, both of you. You're a borough attorney. You need to start acting like one, Al. I mean that. It's unbecoming for how you're acting right now. I have a lot of respect for you. Please, I'm asking you nicely. You need to just act like a borough attorney. You're being very political right now. No. Okay, then, I'm asking you.
I
I'm-
understand your passion.
I don't have any passion. I want the facts here, and you guys are playing politics. You need to act as a borough attorney. You're not even here 30 days. Al, respectfully, okay, you and...
Mrs. McMorro, can...
Well, how do you know you're here 60 days already? What's going on? You're having all these conversations about...
The resolution only appointed me to...
Mrs. McMorro, can you wrap it up?
No, that I
All right,
can't do this.
Mr. Wunsch, please stop harassing the residents.
Yeah, I mean, I'm allowed to have statement... Okay. I don't even, I lost my train of thought. At the next portion of the meeting there, respectfully, if a resident gets up here and speaks, I don't need to get into this with the borough attorney. If we have questions, just answer. We don't need to be attacked. This is totally unfair. Very unfair.
Okay, let's all try to disagree better in the future.
Michael Glantz, 10 Stamford Drive. There's a lot of self-awareness missing in this room, from all parties. And it's an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment. I've been involved in local politics in multiple communities. I've never seen anything like this. I've done some research. I've never heard of anything like this. There should be a lot of embarrassment in this room. So I'm going to say something to the Democrats, which is very important. And that is that this is an opportunity to start from scratch. Mr. Wunsch, I don't know you. I would say that you have to bend over backwards to make sure your ducks are in a row. Do everything right. You, sir. I've heard you're a good man, good attorney.
I'm around the corner from each other.
I understand that. I am looking to you to do everything right. To accuse yourself when necessary, even if it's a close call. Because you don't want the opposition to have any ammunition. You, sir, need to understand and accept the fact that elections have consequences. Behavior has consequences. You, ma'am, need to learn that you're no longer on the board.
I'm a resident, I have rights.
Yeah, so we have a protocol.
Okay.
Because
Fine, I'll speak to
everybody,
you.
speak to them outside.
I'll speak to you, okay? When you are chairing a meeting, chair the meeting. I have seen you, in the previous administration, tell people to sit down when they engage in a tit-for-tat. It appears, at least to people sitting in the audience, that when the former council president was up here engaging in questions and attacking people, and then accusing you of attacking her, that you sat there and you watched. It also seemed that you allowed it to continue because, frankly, you're looking for an ally. Now, I gotta be honest with you. Whether I agree with your politics or not, irrelevant to me. I live in this town, and I want the shit to stop. Okay? It's that simple. It's an embarrassment. And the fact that people here, on both sides, are willing to go on with it is ridiculous. My wife normally sits here. I don't have the patience for it. But she texts me with what goes on, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding. Tonight she couldn't make it, so I said, I'm going to go, and I'm going to see if with the new administration, if people could shake hands, look people in the eye, and say, you know what? We're going to start anew. These lawsuits don't help anybody. You're not going to prevail and collect. You're not going to prevail and get a ruling that so changes the way things are. You're simply continuing the problem. And people that file lawsuits in a town like this, let me tell you something. Women's right to choose, that's not a local issue. Okay? How many federal issues are involved here on the local issue? There are none. Really, there are none. Republicans, Democrats, shouldn't matter.
100%.
It should not matter. It's fine. You might agree with, well, we should have this attorney or we should have this attorney. You might disagree on some issues. That's acceptable, to disagree. And like adults, you talk about it, you hash it out, sometimes you argue. But then, at the end of the day, you should shake hands and agree that the majority, however it is, prevails. That's how you govern. And if you can't do that, sir, then with all due respect, you ought to step down. And I'm not telling you you should step down. But if you can't behave in a way that is appropriate for the residents of Englewood Cliffs, then you ought to step down. And by the way, anybody else that can't behave appropriately also ought to step down.
Thank you for
Thank you
sharing
for your...
So, I would just suggest perhaps that you watch a few more meetings to really understand what happens up here, because it's not easy. It's not easy. You show up tonight and you lecture, and it's all really nice. But I have to live this every day, and I've been living it every day for 3 years, trying to be professional, honorable, and honest. And that's it, okay?
I'm not
All right? Your points are well taken, but we need to agree
I'm not
better.
going to go for tit-for-tat. I'll just say this.
Your time's up, sir.
The lack of self...
Yeah, you sat
Previous
down.
resident was here for 20 minutes.
You sat down. It's over.
I'll stand back up.
No, no.
All I'm going to say to you, sir,
No, we're going- no,
all I'm
you-
going to say to you is you should not have responded like that, okay? Because it should be done.
You can't do that.
Dennis, sit down.
Now you're becoming like us.
Just sit. You had your turn. Sit down.
Really?
Yes,
Okay.
that's how it works.
All right.
There are rules.
All right.
Thank you.
Do you guys want to save this for the regular meeting, or you want to do it now? You guys want to do it now? Yeah.
No, I gotta go
Where you going?
after work.
Lauren Eastwood, Four Willow Drive. I just want to address a point that Mr. Wunsch inaccurately made, so we are crystal clear. I got a restraining order barring 2 council persons from voting on one matter, and a third councilman from voting on 2. So that's what happened with that case. I have some very serious concerns about the fact that you represented 5 council members in a lawsuit against the mayor. I don't understand how you, or a lawsuit that the mayor filed against them, whatever. I don't understand how you can function as borough attorney and then represent part of the council against the mayor. It seems to me that they're mutually inconsistent positions, and I think there are probably some ethics rules on them.
Indeed, there are. Anybody else? Yes.
Don't get kicked out before you have to go to work.
You have to behave. Good evening, Dave DeGregorio, 165 Charlotte Place. I'd like to go off topic a little bit and maybe to some quality of life issues in town that could improve our lives in our nice little town of Englewood Cliffs. Maybe I mentioned it last time, and I was thinking that maybe it would be a good idea, and it's a suggestion, a little out of the box. Leaves. For millions of years, leaves have been falling in Englewood Cliffs. And they've been falling on the ground, and they've been disintegrating in Englewood Cliffs. And that's a good thing. People came along, we populated the town, nice people here, most everyone gets along. Hopefully that'll be a little bit more in the future. But the leaves now are suddenly put on the street and carted away. That's a lot of hours of work and of time. Now, granted, there are some properties that are too small, but I'd love to see the Shade Tree Commission issue some kind of reward, whatever it might be, a little plaque, maybe even a tax write-off, to mulch leaves on your own property. 2 years later, you got your topsoil, you put it down. You don't have to go to Home Depot and buy all that stuff, chemicals and whatever. All right, so that's the first thing. I think it'd be a great function for the Shade Tree Commission to award an environmental prize or plaque that people could display on their front lawn.
Do you mulch?
I do.
You do?
I do.
How do you do it? Like you bring a mulcher?
No, I have a fenced-in area. I put all the leaves.
You compost it?
Compost it,
Okay.
absolutely. And I also have a natural area in the yard. I feel like too much lawn, especially if you don't have kids anymore, let the leaves fall and let it be natural. I think that's, it can be very attractive. The second thing, papers, newspapers that have been thrown on the streets. I take bike rides around town pretty frequently, and I see papers on the edge of sewers ready to go down, and I think it's very important. Local press is extremely important. So glad there's a reporter here. I'd love to see some kind of container or someplace. I think it's still, you can't really go through the post office, but someone needs to think of some kind of solution to that.
But I think most people just pick them up and put them into the recycling after they read them, or just,
Well, that's not what I see.
just throw them out.
Not in my neighborhood. I see a lot of newspapers on the ground.
Would you say that's most people that don't pick them up?
No, it's enough, and they wash into the street and they blow around. All right, so it's just something to bring to people's attention. The last thing, I see we have a police officer here, and I hope I don't get kicked out tonight. But since I'm a problem solver, I figured I would get a little something. I got it half price at Staples, and I got the mayor,
Another gift?
yes, a button. So we could push this one instead of
The
the other one.
It says easy on it, and nothing's easy in this town.
Well, hopefully,
At least it doesn't have the reset that Hillary Clinton had.
I don't know if it has your flag on here, but it
Where's
does.
my flag?
You're from Croatia?
No, I'm from America.
Well, background.
I'm American.
Because I know
I'm
that,
American. Are you okay with that?
I'm fine with that. I'm German, I have German citizenship.
No, I'm American. I'm not German.
Okay, so I have both. So,
I don't
and
do that.
I'm very American.
I would never dilute my citizenship with another passport.
Well, thank you. I'll let that go. But anyway, I'm not allowed to approach.
You can take it with you.
I'll take it.
You can take it with you. We'll take it with you.
Well, the gesture. You'll take it? Okay. So I do hope that everything will be easy in this town for here on out.
Thank you.
All right, and if I come up with any new ideas, I will let you know. I think, as I've said in the past, time is up, I'll leave in a second. But I do think that our town
No, you have plenty of time.
is small. Thank you. You've never said that to me before. Anyway, I just want to wish everyone well. I think, and in all seriousness, what the gentleman said before me rings true. And I think the only way, sometimes, is you have to laugh. You have to lighten it up a little bit. Otherwise, you're going to have lawsuits galore, go to the bar afterwards, have a drink, discuss. I mean, maybe it's too late, maybe the divisions are too deep, but I think it's incumbent on everyone to really have a new beginning. And I agree with the gentleman that was here before. Thanks very much, good luck.
Donald Smurfest, 26 John Street, Englewood Cliffs. I know that you folks feel that the pay-to-play, or whatever you call it, is the hardest thing for this town to live with, because you want to protect it from corruption and whatnot.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Mr. DiGregorio, can you stop talking back there?
I'd like to know that if you're getting the pay-to-play, all the idiots that we hire here and pay the money.
We don't hire idiots.
Oh, we did. Oh, you did. You had an inspector who's done nothing.
No, we don't hire idiots.
You didn't hire an idiot?
No.
Well, then you had to be a moron.
We don't treat
Then you had to be a moron.
That's disrespectful.
No, it's not disrespectful, it's a fact of life.
Okay. You have your
You asked the
opinion,
man to do something, and you asked your building inspector to do something now for how long?
and they're doing
What
it.
have they done?
They're doing it.
Then I'd like to know what they have done.
We could tell them that the Democrats on council fired my borough administrator, so I have no update for you.
You have no update? You know
I have no
why?
update for you.
Because he did nothing.
Well, I don't,
I know that.
that doesn't give you the
I know
license
that,
to
sir.
call people
Your building inspector is a moron because you have no paving and they're still parking on gravel. And he's the zoning officer.
That's enough.
That's enough?
That's enough.
Well, why don't you play the...
That's enough. You can't call people idiots.
I can call them whatever the hell I want.
You
It's
can
coming
do
out of
that,
my tax
but
dollars.
not in my...
Yes, I can. It's
in my
not
meeting.
yours, it's ours. We own this town, not you.
No, we have a respectable town.
We have a very good town,
And I want you
and it
to
was
be
even better without you, Mr.
I
Mayor.
want you to be respectable.
I am always respectful.
Well, right now,
I'm
you're-
always respectful. I only take lead from you, sir.
We actually
I only
agree.
take lead from you.
We actually agree that property needs to be fixed.
I'm glad that
We do agree on
But
that.
you've done
But
nothing for
we
3
do it
years. We've been
differently.
agreeing for 3 years.
Well, it's been there for 30 years.
Really?
I'm trying to deal with
But
it.
that's not my interest. My interest is what you've done in 3.
Look,
I'm looking.
you made your point. You made your
But
point.
you haven't given me an answer.
I don't have an answer because the Democrats on this council fired my borough administrator on
Well, then I
January 3rd.
suggest, Mr. Mayor, it's only a suggestion, through your travels in City Hall, stop on the 2nd floor and ask your zoning officer what he done.
The zoning officer's on the 1st floor.
Well, no, 2nd floor. I call it the 2nd floor. The 1st floor is where I walk in,
Okay.
okay? The 3rd floor is where you sit.
Anybody else? Yes.
Gail Ehrenberg, 51 John Street.
Turn around. Not talk to me. Turn around. Turn around.
I listen to you, so you can listen to me.
That's fine, definitely.
I hope the members of the mayor and council will do what is right and best for our town and residents. Almost all of you are lawyers or involved in real estate, and I hope this doesn't cloud your judgment or enhance your professional goals. I know when I was on the Board of Education, I waited until my children got out of the school before I sat on the board, so no one would say I was biased. I was definitely pro-teacher because everyone in my family is a teacher, but I had to take into consideration many factors, which included our residents, our town, and their taxes. It saddens me that my friends from other towns call and send me articles
that show our town in a negative light, especially the last meeting, which was all over the town, all over Bergen County, not just the town. It shows that we can't be civil, we can't be polite to each other, we can't work to each other. We're not professionals. Bergen County looks at us as almost a joke. We cannot reverse lawsuits also just because we are in power. We must continue to finish what was started. Let the law, the courts decide this, not individuals who don't represent 100% of the residents of this town. And that's what you have to do. You have to represent 100%, not just your party, whether it's Democrat or Republican, the whole town. We all belong to this town. We all want the best for it, but we are the laughing stock of Bergen County.
Anyone else wishing to be heard? Yes.
Karen Geiger, 270 Alfred Street. A few comments. One, on the lack of civility. The lack of civility didn't begin at the last meeting. It's been an ongoing problem in this council for the last 3 years. Number two, I'd like to know why we have a police officer standing at this meeting, and I noticed at the last meeting as well, and why are we paying, I assume, overtime for this police officer? I guess when people who are Democrats
It's self-obvious.
ask, no, it isn't self-obvious, Mr. Mayor, at all. We're a very peaceable assembly. Number three,
Actually, we have a history of not being.
no, we have a history of you pressing the emergency button very frequently. We don't have a history of lack of peaceable assembly.
My responsibility-
Perhaps if you had ever attended a riotous meeting, you'd understand the difference between what we have here and what really is a riot situation, which I have seen in New York City multiple times. Number three, Ms. Eastwood's assertion about her being vindicated by the judge. Actually, what happened was there was her vindication in the sense that her request for a temporary injunction was granted by Judge Farrington, I believe. But when the case went to trial or to motion, Judge Farrington dismissed the case and said that Ms. Eastwood had not met any of the four criteria for a permanent injunction under the Crow standard. So that's what actually happened, and it was dismissed with prejudice. Number four, on allegations of the Public Open Meetings Act violation, I would caution anybody, we are all able to allege that there may be violations, but only the courts can determine if there in fact are violations. And in the end, I don't think that anybody in the community is supportive of more court cases to deal with nuances such as this. I do caution the mayor and council, from my perspective, that it would be promising if you could pay extra attention to the law, because we've learned that this is a very litigious town. And the last thing the taxpayers need is more money spent on lawsuits. Thank you.
Anybody else wishing to be heard? Okay, can I have a motion to close the public portion? And I'd like to, if it's okay with the council, adjourn the caucus, get ready for the regular meeting, and start it within the next 5 minutes and get back on schedule here tonight. Can I have a motion to adjourn? All in favor? Thank you. All right, we're going to start the regular meeting in about 5 minutes.
There's like a